On the night his pregnant girlfriend was killed, Stephen McCullagh appeared to be live on YouTube.
Hey, and we're live. Hello, everyone. Yeah, a little bit out of the blue, this, isn't it? But, hang on, my levels are just a nightmare. There we go, bring that down a little bit. And that could be a little bit better framed, but that's the fun of being live. Yes, so, hello to all on this glorious Sunday evening. Yeah, so I just thought, why not? I'm gonna do a live stream, because this day next week is Christmas. So, what more could you want for Christmas other than an evening with your old pal, Stephen?
Viewers could see gameplay streaming in real time. His account looked active. His online presence looked normal. But prosecutors would later tell a jury something chilling. They said that stream wasn't live at all. They said it had been recorded in advance. They said it was meant to create a digital alibi. And while that video played on screens, they allege he was somewhere else entirely. Inside the home of 32-year-old Natalie McNally. Pregnant. Alone. Expecting a child. What happened in that house in Lurgan, Northern Ireland, would spark one of the most disturbing murder trials in recent. This is the case of Natalie McNally, before headlines, before courtroom sketches, before the digital evidence. There was Natalie. Natalie McNally was 32 years old. She lived in Lurgan, County Armagh, Northern Ireland. Friends described her as thoughtful and intelligent. She worked, kept close contact with family, and was preparing for a new chapter in her life. She was pregnant, expecting her first child. Weeks leading up to Christmas 2022 should have been filled with planning, small preparations, quiet anticipation. Instead, on December 18th, everything changed. Natalie was found dead inside her home. The news sent shockwaves through the local community. A young woman, pregnant, killed just days before Christmas. Police quickly treated the case as a murder investigation, and attention turned to someone close to her. Stephen McCullagh was Natalie's boyfriend. Their relationship had reportedly been private, not widely discussed in public circles. In court, prosecutors would describe it as complicated. They told jurors that McCullagh did not want the pregnancy, that he was concerned about the consequences, personal, social, reputational. The prosecution's case would later suggest motive grew from that pressure. But at this stage, investigators needed evidence. And the first question was simple. Where? Was he that night? When police began examining timelines, something seemed clear. McCullagh appeared to have been streaming gameplay online around the time Natalie was killed. The stream showed activity. It looked live. It gave the impression that he was at home playing video games. In a digital age, online activity can function like a timestamp. If someone is visibly active online, viewers assume they are physically present at their device. But investigators dug deeper. They analyzed internet logs. They examined file timestamps. They looked at metadata and streaming patterns. And prosecutors would later argue something critical. The video was not live. It had allegedly been pre-recorded. They claimed it had been uploaded or set to broadcast at a scheduled time, creating the illusion of real-time presence. If true, that would mean the stream wasn't proof of innocence. It would be preparation. Prosecutors laid out their version of events in court. They alleged that McCullagh disguised himself before going to Natalie's home. They claimed he used clothing and coverings intended to conceal his identity. Inside the house, they said, Natalie was attacked. The details presented in court were serious and deeply disturbing. The prosecution described a violent assault. They told jurors she suffered multiple stab wounds. She was found in her own living space, a place that should have been safe. The attack was described as deliberate, not random, not opportunistic, targeted. Afterward, prosecutors argued the suspect left the scene and returned home, where the pre-recorded stream continued playing. To anyone watching online, nothing looked unusual. But investigators believed the timeline told a different story. This case became heavily centered on digital evidence. Experts examined.
Good afternoon. I am Detective Chief Inspector John Caldwell. This afternoon, detectives from the Major Investigation Team investigating the murder of Natalie McNally are releasing CCTV footage, along with details of a reward from the charity Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers, who are independent of police, have offered a reward of up to £20,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for Natalie's murder. Natalie was murdered in her home in Silverwood Green in Lurgan, and we believe the attack took place on the night of Sunday the 18th of December. The 32-year-old, who was 15 weeks pregnant, died a violent death, having been stabbed a number of times. CCTV footage released shows a man carrying a rucksack arriving at Silverwood Green on Sunday night at 8:52 p.m. Then at 9:30 p.m, we see him walking out of Silverwood Green. He appears to be wearing white footwear, possibly trainers. My thoughts firmly remain with Natalie's devoted parents and family, who have suffered terribly. And my appeal is to anyone with information, please come forward. I am keen to highlight a reward of £20,000 from Crime Stoppers, who are a charity and who are independent of police. The reward has been offered for information given directly to Crime Stoppers that leads to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for Natalie's murder. Crime Stoppers take information completely anonymously, meaning they will never ask for or store any personal details. Contact Crime Stoppers, please, on 0800 555 111. This is a free phone, or you can contact them online at www.crimestoppers-uk.org. There is no colour line display, no 1471 facility, and computer IP addresses are never traced. Thank you.
I'm Niall, the youngest of Natalie's three brothers, and I would like to appeal to my sister's killer to do a decent thing and confess to her murder. Nats, as we called her, was the only girl in that family, and we treated her like a princess. She lived and coped with being a diabetic from a really early age, and as a result, we were so protective of her and treated her like a precious egg. And yet she was a fiercely independent woman, working in marketing for TransLink, and was passionate about her beliefs and loved her animals and music. We were so proud of her many achievements. My mum and dad, Noel and Bernadette, my two brothers, Brendan and Declan, and I are completely devastated that she's no longer with us, and I really can't believe we'll never see her beautiful smile or hear her infectious laugh again. I cannot actually put into words the heartache we're experiencing. She was the life and soul of our family, and we are heartbroken she will not be sitting around the table with us this Christmas Day or any day. Nats really was the best sister ever, and such a lovely person. She had so many friends and would have done anything for anyone. She had a heart of gold. And to add to our unbearable heartache, we were devastated that we will never meet Natalie's baby. We were all looking forward to welcoming the family's first grandchild and niece or nephew into the world next year. Our killers denied Nats the opportunity of being a mummy. I'm appealing on behalf of our family to bring any information to police or Crime Stoppers to help them put Nat's killer behind bars.
My name is John, one of Natalie's many uncles. Natalie was a gorgeous, kind, generous girl who went the extra mile for her friends and family, but also for pets or any animal. She has come from one of the kindest, most generous, most loving, most caring families that I have ever had the privilege to meet.
Internet router data device usage logs, phone movement tracking, CCTV footage from surrounding areas, the prosecution argued that McCullagh's movements, combined with gaps and anomalies in his digital footprint, did not match the appearance of someone continuously live streaming. They suggested the broadcast had been carefully arranged. In modern investigations, digital forensics often become as important as fingerprints. Metadata can show when a file was created, server logs can show when content was uploaded, streaming platforms record session activity. In this case, prosecutors argued that the technology meant to protect him became the very thing that raised suspicion, because digital footprints, once examined closely, can tell a story. After months of investigation, police arrested Stephen McCullagh. He was charged with the murder of Natalie McNally and her unborn child. The case moved toward trial. Public interest grew steadily. Media outlets across the UK covered developments. On YouTube, true crime channels began analyzing the digital alibi angle, asking how someone could attempt to use a live stream as cover. The courtroom would become the place where those questions were tested. When the trial began, prosecutors laid out a structured narrative. They argued, the pregnancy created motive. The disguise showed planning. The pre-recorded stream showed intent to mislead. The forensic evidence connected the accused to the scene. The defense pushed back. They challenged interpretations of digital evidence. They questioned assumptions about timing. They emphasized the presumption of innocence. Trials are not about speculation. They are about proof. Jurors had to decide whether the prosecution's timeline made sense and whether it eliminated reasonable doubt. The courtroom focused heavily on the reliability of digital logs, the credibility of forensic testimony, and whether the alleged staging of the alibi was proven beyond doubt. Lurgan is not a city used to headlines like this. The death of a pregnant woman days before. Christmas left lasting trauma in the community. Vigils were held. Family members spoke publicly about their loss. Friends described Natalie's future, one that would never unfold. True crime stories often center on the mystery, the puzzle, the investigation. But at the center of this case was a woman preparing to become a mother. That reality grounded every court session in something heavier than legal argument. This case reached far beyond Northern Ireland for one reason: technology. The idea that someone could attempt to manufacture a digital alibi using a pre-recorded live stream felt distinctly modern. It raised broader questions. Can online activity truly prove where someone is? How reliable is digital presence as evidence? Can technology create illusions convincing enough to mislead investigators? For many viewers, the case felt like a turning point in how crimes intersect with digital life, and that's why it spread quickly across YouTube and international media. If the live stream was pre-recorded, it suggests planning. If it was live, it suggests innocence. The entire weight of the case leaned heavily on that distinction. Jurors were tasked with evaluating complex digital testimony alongside physical and forensic evidence. In modern trials, technology can confuse as easily as it clarifies. Timelines must be precise, logs must be interpreted correctly, assumptions must be tested. In this courtroom, the digital trail became central. At its heart, this case is not about a live stream. It is about Natalie McNally, a woman whose life ended in her own home, a child who never had the chance to be born. The legal process determines guilt or innocence, but the loss is permanent. As technology continues to shape our lives, it also shapes criminal investigations. Digital footprints are powerful, but they require careful scrutiny. And in this case, a simple online stream became one of the most debated pieces of evidence in a modern UK murder trial. The question the court had to answer was not whether a video played. It was whether that video told the truth.